Do you know how when you're sitting at your desk, it's hard to shake the feeling that your hands are throbbing? What if I told you that you've been doing repetitive motions all day long and injuring yourself potentially without even realizing it? And this is what repetitive injuries are, and they can be really painful. And in this video today, we're going to be talking about what repetitive injury is and how to avoid it. So let's get started. A repetitive injury is an injury that happens from repetitive motions. When you perform a motion over and over and over again, the muscles, the tendons, and the ligaments will stretch. And over time, that stretching can create internal problems in that soft tissue. Imagine something like a rubber band. You stretch it over and over again, and eventually that thing just doesn't rebound anymore. The repetitive stress can create permanent problems in your body, and that's why it's important to understand them and then how to avoid them. So let's talk about a few common repetitive stress injuries. In that example that we talked about before, that's an example of carpal tunnel syndrome. It's a common injury that happens to people who type all day or do other activities with their hands where they're doing the same motion over and over again without giving the body enough time to recover in between those movements. This will cause inflammation, and that'll cause pain, numbness, tingling, and a loss of sensation. A tennis elbow is also a common repetitive injury. It's when you're gripping that tennis racket all day long doing repetitive motion. It also causes inflammation, which can cause pain, numbness, tingling, and a loss of sensation in your arm. But tennis elbow doesn't always come from tennis. In fact, it can come from activities like weightlifting, typing, or even just using your phone. Bursitis is another example. It can also happen because of our repetitive stress. It occurs because the bursa, which is this fluid-filled sac that we have surrounding our joints that help with flexibility, when that sac gets inflamed or injured, it can cause a lot of pain in the area as well as swelling. We can get bursitis in our shoulder, we can get bursitis in the hips, we can get bursitis in the elbow. There are a number of places where we can get bursitis. These repetitive injuries are typically happening because your body has to work too hard to do the same motion over and over again without giving the body time to recover. It can happen from any repetitive activity: golf, tennis, driving, sitting at a computer, those kinds of things. So what should you do if this happens? One of the first things you can do is attempt to find the activity that's causing the injury and try to do something else. We're going to use that tennis example. If you play tennis, start swimming or doing yoga instead of playing tennis for a while. But it's not that simple. There are other things you can do, like changing your hand position at the keyboard or even getting wrist supports when typing at work. Basically, what we want to do is reduce the amount of time performing the activity that causes the problem. One way is just simply do less of that activity. First, we may have to find what that activity is and then start doing less. Another thing is to do some gentle stretches before and after performing that repetitive motion so that it's less stressful on the body, but you can still get it done. The most important thing at this point is just remembering repetition is the key. If you're doing it over and over again, you're going to have a problem. The key today is just understanding what repetitive injury is. We talked about that in some of the various types of repetitive stress that you can experience. And hopefully this understanding will help you to prevent these problems in the future. And hey, if you like this type of content, please click that like button, subscribe to our channel, then maybe hit that bell so that you get alerts on what's coming up next. Guys, I'm Dr. Emil Tompkins, and we'll see you in the next video.